Hello everyone, welcome to our channel of meetings assistance for Jehovah's Witnesses. I hope you are all doing well. In this video, we are going to analyze and answer the questions from this week's Watchtower study. This study corresponds to the week of September 8th to 14th, and its title is, How to Help a Student Decide to Serve Jehovah. Without further delay, let's begin. Let's see question number 1, Part A. Why do some Bible students hesitate to become Jehovah's Witnesses? Some Bible students hesitate because they fear opposition from relatives, friends, or workmates, which can cause a lot of emotional pressure. Others feel insecure, thinking they may not be able to meet God's requirements. These factors can hold them back from becoming Jehovah's Witnesses, even though they have a sincere interest in the truth. Additional comments. Matthew 13:20-22 shows that trials, worries, and anxieties can prevent the seed of truth from taking root. This reminds us that many students do not lack interest, but rather face inner struggles. That is why our role is not to pressure them, but to help them identify these obstacles and show them that with Jehovah's help they can overcome them. Let's see question number 1, Part B. What will we see in this article? In this article we will see how Jesus' example teaches us to be patient and understanding with those who hesitate. It will show how to help students identify what is holding them back, strengthen their love for Jehovah, adjust their priorities, and overcome their fears so that they can take firm steps in their service. Additional comments. Matthew 13:22 also highlights that life's distractions can choke out the truth. By imitating Jesus, we can encourage students to focus on what is most important, their love for Jehovah. If that love grows stronger than their fears or worries, they will find the motivation needed to make firm spiritual decisions. Let's move on to the first subtitle. Help your student identify the obstacles that hinder his progress. Let's see question number 3. What obstacle may have prevented Nicodemus from becoming a disciple of Jesus? Nicodemus was an influential man and a member of the Jewish High Court. He recognized early on that Jesus was the Messiah, but fear of what others might think or do to him held him back. He preferred to meet Jesus in secret so as not to lose his prestige or position. That fear of social and personal consequences was the main obstacle that prevented him from becoming a disciple immediately. Additional comments. John 3:1-2 shows that Nicodemus knew Jesus came from God, yet he visited him at night. This shows that although he was convinced, his fear of social pressure weighed more heavily. Similarly, some students today recognize the truth but need time and support so that their faith becomes stronger than their fear. John 7:13 says that many did not speak about Jesus openly, for fear of the Jews. Nicodemus was among them, and that delayed his decision. This reminds us that fear of what people might say can hinder spiritual progress. That is why, as teachers, we must strengthen trust in Jehovah so that love for him becomes stronger than people's opinions. Let's see question number 4. How did Jesus help Nicodemus understand what God expected of him? Jesus helped Nicodemus by giving him personal time, even if it meant meeting at night. He did not treat him harshly for his doubts, but patiently explained what Jehovah expected of him. He clearly showed him that he needed to repent, get baptized, and exercise faith in the Son of God in order to become his disciple. In this way, Jesus gave him the precise guidance he needed to make spiritual decisions. Additional comments. John 3:5 shows that Jesus explained to Nicodemus the need for baptism in water and in spirit to enter God's kingdom. This teaches us that even if someone has religious knowledge, it is essential to help him understand the concrete steps Jehovah requires to serve him truly. John 3:14-21 emphasizes that salvation depends on exercising faith in the Son of God. Jesus presented this point with clear examples so that Nicodemus could understand. In the same way, we learn that when teaching, we should be direct but also understanding, so the student can clearly see the importance of his spiritual decisions. Let's see question number 5. What can we do to help a student see what is stopping him from serving Jehovah? To help a student identify what is preventing him from serving Jehovah, it is important to dedicate personal time and show genuine interest in him. Sometimes responsibilities, work, or family opposition may be holding him back, and in a relaxed setting he will feel freer to express his concerns. That way, we can guide him to recognize the changes he needs to make, always reminding him that the main motivation must be to show love for Jehovah, not just to please the teacher. Additional comments. John 3:1-2 shows that Jesus was willing to meet Nicodemus at a time and place where he felt comfortable. This teaches us that, like Jesus, we can create a safe and trusting environment so the student feels secure in talking about his struggles and personal barriers. John 3:21 highlights that whoever loves the truth comes into the light, so that it is seen that his works are in harmony with God. Our role as teachers is to help the student discover the areas where he needs to adjust his life, motivating him to do it out of love for Jehovah, so that his progress will be firm and sincere. Let's see question number 6. How can you help a student find the strength he needs to put into practice what he learns? 1 Corinthians 16:13. For a student to put into practice what he learns, he needs to feel confident that Jehovah will help him live up to his standards. We can support him by being patient, encouraging him, and conveying reassurance. It is not enough to simply tell him what he should do, we also need to remind him that he has the strength that comes from Jehovah to overcome any difficulty. Additional comments. 1 Corinthians 16:13 says we must stand firm in the faith and be strong. This emphasizes that true strength comes from Jehovah, and by reminding the student of this, we help him trust that he does not depend only on his own abilities. John 3:21 shows that the one who lives in harmony with the truth knows that God supports his works. Thus, we can help the student understand that every step of obedience reflects Jehovah's active support, which will encourage him to keep moving forward. Let's move on to the second subtitle. Help your student to love Jehovah more. Let's see question number 7. How did Jesus help those who listened to him to love Jehovah more? Jesus helped his listeners love Jehovah more by teaching with examples that stirred deep feelings. He showed them that God is like a loving father who always gives the best to his children and who joyfully receives the repentant one. By presenting Jehovah in such a close and compassionate way, people better understood how much he loved them and felt the desire to draw closer to him. Additional comments. Matthew 7:9-11 shows that Jehovah is compared to a father who gives good things to his children. With this simple and tender illustration, Jesus helped his disciples trust God more and see him as someone close, not distant. Luke 15:20-24 describes the Father's reaction when he receives his repentant Son. By using this example, Jesus taught that Jehovah not only forgives but does so with affection and joy, which inspires a deeper love for him. Let's see question number 8. How can you help a Bible student to love Jehovah more? We can help a student love Jehovah more by highlighting his qualities in every lesson and showing how they are reflected in what he is learning. It is valuable to show that everything we study is connected to God's love, especially the ransom, which is personal proof of how much he values us. By understanding this great love, the student will feel a deeper desire to draw closer to Jehovah and show him loyalty. Additional comments. Romans 5:8 teaches that God demonstrated his love by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners. Highlighting this point helps the student see that Jehovah loves him personally and unconditionally. 1 John 4:10 shows that God's love is reflected in the ransom provided through Jesus. By stressing this truth, the student will understand that Jehovah loves him in a special way, which will strengthen his love and gratitude toward him. Let's see question number 9. What helped Michael make changes in his life? Michael knew the truth since childhood, but he had not made the decision to get baptized. It was when he returned to his country and began studying the Bible again that something touched his heart. When reflecting on the ransom, he realized how much pain it caused Jehovah to see his son suffer. That reflection awakened in him deep gratitude that motivated him to make important changes in his life and finally get baptized. Additional comments. Romans 5:8 explains that God showed his love by giving Christ for us even while we were sinners. When Michael reflected on this immense love, he realized that the ransom was not just a teaching but Jehovah's personal gift to him. Galatians 2:20 shows that Jesus gave himself for me. That idea also impacted Michael. By seeing it as a sacrifice made on an individual level, his gratitude led him to transform his life and take firm steps in serving Jehovah. Let's move on to the third subtitle. Help your student to make changes in his priorities. Let's see question number 10. How did Jesus help his first disciples to have clear priorities? Luke 5:5-11, see also the picture. Jesus helped his first disciples have clear priorities by showing them, through a miracle, that they could trust Jehovah to provide for their needs. Although they had a stable fishing business, they understood that the most important thing was to dedicate themselves fully to following Jesus and preaching. That act of faith led them to leave their nets and arrange matters so their families were cared for, trusting that Jehovah would never abandon them. Additional comments. Luke 5:5-11 relates that after a miraculous catch of fish, Peter and his companions left everything to follow Jesus. This shows that by experiencing God's power firsthand, they strengthened their trust that Jehovah would supply what they needed. Matthew 4:18-19 highlights Jesus' invitation to Peter and Andrew, "Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men." With these words, Jesus helped them see that preaching had more value than any business or personal goal. Let's see question number 11. What can we do to strengthen our students' faith? Although we cannot perform miracles like Jesus, we can strengthen the students' faith by sharing personal or others' experiences that show how Jehovah supports those who put Him first. By hearing concrete examples, such as changes in work or routines to attend meetings, the student will see that Jehovah truly blesses sincere efforts. This will encourage him to trust God more and take firm steps in his service. Additional comments. Luke 5:11 shows that the disciples left everything and followed Jesus because they trusted in Jehovah's support. This example reminds us that by sharing experiences of faith with the student, we help him see that he too can receive God's help if he makes courageous decisions. Matthew 6:33 assures that if we seek the kingdom first, Jehovah will add the necessary things. Highlighting this principle strengthens the student's confidence that Jehovah will not abandon him when he makes changes to serve him. Let's see question number 12, Part A. Why is it good to invite different publishers to the Bible course? It is good to invite different publishers to the course because the student will be able to hear real experiences from brothers in different circumstances who put Jehovah first. This will give him practical examples that will motivate him to do the same in his life. Additional comments. Hebrews 10:24-25 highlights the importance of encouraging one another. By inviting other publishers to participate in the course, the student sees that he is not alone, and that many brothers have already faced similar trials and received Jehovah's help. Let's see question number 12, Part B. What else can you do with your student to help him put Jehovah first? Give an example. We can also strengthen his faith by using prepared materials, such as the videos from the Enjoy Life Forever book. For example, when analyzing Lesson 37, we can watch together the video Jehovah will provide for our needs and highlight the principles that show how Jehovah supports those who trust in Him. Additional comments. Matthew 6:33 reminds us that if we put Jehovah first, He will take care of our needs. The videos and experiences show this principle in action, which strengthens the student's trust so that he will be encouraged to imitate that example. Let's move on to the fourth subtitle. Help your student overcome difficulties. Let's look at question number 13. How did Jesus prepare His disciples to face opposition? Jesus prepared His disciples by speaking frankly to them about the opposition they would face, even from within their own families. He warned them that their lives could be in danger for following Him, but He also taught them to be cautious and prudent so as not to expose themselves unnecessarily. In this way, He strengthened them to keep their faith and continue preaching despite the trials. Additional comments. Matthew 5:11 reminds us that those who suffer insults and persecution for Christ's sake are happy. By saying this, Jesus prepared his disciples to see opposition not as punishment, but as proof that they were doing what was right. John 15:20 shows that just as Jesus was persecuted, his followers would also be persecuted. This realistic warning helped the disciples not to become discouraged, since they understood that facing opposition was a natural part of serving Jehovah. Let's look at question number 14. How can we help a student face opposition? 2 Timothy 3:12. We can help a student face opposition by preparing him in advance, explaining that it is something every faithful Christian will experience. It is useful to speak openly about what his workmates, friends, or even family members might say, so that he is not caught off guard. If he is prepared beforehand, it will be easier for him to remain calm, remember what he has learned, and stay firm in his decision to serve Jehovah. Additional comments. 2 Timothy 3:12 says that all those who want to live with devotion to God will suffer persecution. By showing this scripture to the student, we help him understand that opposition does not mean Jehovah has abandoned him, but that it is part of being a faithful Christian. Matthew 10:22 emphasizes that the true disciples would be hated by all because of Christ. This reminder can strengthen the student so that he does not get discouraged when opposition arises, knowing that Jehovah rewards loyal endurance. Let's look at question number 15. If a student's family turns against him, what can we do to help? If a student's family opposes him, we can help by encouraging him to reflect on the possible reasons, such as prejudice or mistrust toward the witnesses. It is also important to show him that Jesus went through something similar and that he should not feel alone. The most important thing is to help him be patient, treat his family with respect, and always use tact when expressing his beliefs, trusting that, with time, his actions will speak louder than words. Additional comments. Mark 3:21 relates that even Jesus' family thought he had lost his mind. This example can comfort the student, reminding him that even the Son of God faced misunderstanding within his own family. John 7:5 shows that Jesus' brothers did not believe in him. This teaches the student that family opposition does not mean a lack of Jehovah's blessing, but rather a test in which he must show patience and constant love. Let's look at question number 16. What can we do to help the student speak about his beliefs tactfully? We can help the student speak about his beliefs tactfully by encouraging him not to try to explain everything at once. It is better for his conversations to be short, clear, and simple, so that they spark interest in his family rather than overwhelm them. He can also recommend resources such as jw.org, so they can research on their own if they wish. In this way, conversations will be more natural and constructive. Additional comments. Colossians 4:6 advises that our words should always be gracious and seasoned with salt. This principle helps the student understand that the tone and manner of speaking are just as important as the content of what he says. 1 Peter 3:15 encourages us to give a reason for our hope, but with mildness and deep respect. In this way, we learn that when speaking with family, tact and kindness can open doors that harsh or lengthy explanations might close. Let's look at question number 17. What tools can you use to teach the student to answer questions about Jehovah's Witnesses? See also the picture. To teach a student to answer questions, we can use practical resources such as the section Frequently Asked Questions about Jehovah's Witnesses on jw.org. It is also useful to review together the What Some Say boxes in the Enjoy Life Forever book, and encourage him to practice his own answers in a safe environment. By practicing patiently and receiving suggestions, he will gain confidence and learn to defend his faith with respect and clarity. Additional comments. 2 Timothy 2:24-25 shows that a servant of God must be kind and teach with calmness. This advice is key for the student, because when preparing answers, he must remember that the goal is not to win arguments, but to give a testimony that attracts. 1 Peter 3:15 encourages us to be ready to explain our hope. By practicing with jw.org and the study book, the student will learn to give simple and respectful answers, which will strengthen his confidence and faith. Let's look at question number 18. How can you encourage your student to set the goal of preaching with the congregation? Matthew 10:27. Jesus commanded his disciples to announce the good news, and today we also encourage the student to take that step. The sooner he starts preaching, the quicker he will strengthen his confidence in Jehovah by seeing how Jehovah supports him. You can motivate him by talking about the goal of becoming a publisher when a campaign is announced, as it is a good moment to begin. Also, signing up to participate in midweek meeting assignments will help him gain confidence in expressing his beliefs. Additional comments. Matthew 10:27 shows that what we learn in private we must announce with courage. Helping the student to see preaching as a privilege will motivate him to share what he is learning, not just keep it to himself. Acts 20:35 reminds us that there is more happiness in giving than in receiving. Explaining to the student that preaching will bring him joy and personal satisfaction can motivate him to set the goal of joining the congregation in this work. Let's move on to the fifth subtitle. Show your student that you trust him. Let's look at question number 19. How did Jesus show his disciples that he trusted them, and what can we do to imitate him? Before dying, Jesus encouraged his disciples by assuring them that they would be with him again, although at that moment they did not understand he was speaking about the heavenly hope. Instead of focusing on their doubts, he highlighted their loyalty and gave them time to absorb spiritual truths. Likewise, we can show confidence in our student by supporting his progress and valuing his sincere desire to serve Jehovah, even if he still lacks understanding of some details. Additional comments. John 14:1 highlights how Jesus strengthened his disciples' faith. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Exercise faith in God, exercise faith also in me. We too can encourage the student to remain calm and trust in Jehovah, showing him that we believe in his ability to make progress. John 16:12 shows that Jesus recognized his disciples could not take in everything at once. In the same way, we must be patient and not expect the student to change overnight. The confidence we show him will motivate him to keep growing spiritually. Let's look at question number 20. How did a sister in Malawi show her student that she trusted her? Sister Shifundo showed trust in her student Alanaf by not getting discouraged when she reacted with resistance on the subject of images. Instead of abandoning the course, she continued teaching her with patience and hope. In time, that trust bore fruit. Alanaf came to appreciate Bible teaching, stopped using images, and eventually got baptized. Additional comments. 1 Corinthians 13:7 says that love hopes all things. Shifundo imitated this principle by not giving up on her student, trusting that with patience she would understand and accept Bible truth. Galatians 6:9 encourages us not to give up in doing what is fine. Shifundo's perseverance is an example of how, even if results are not seen at first, trust and consistency can produce good spiritual fruits. Let's look at question number 21. What can we do to help a student decide to serve Jehovah? We can help a student decide to serve Jehovah by teaching him to love him deeply, encouraging him to make changes in his priorities, and showing him that we trust him. This way, he will realize that with Jehovah's help, he too can become a faithful servant. Additional comments. 1 Corinthians 3:7 shows that it is God who makes faith grow, but we cooperate when we cultivate in the student a love for Jehovah. That love is what will motivate him to decide to serve him. Proverbs 3:5-6 encourages us to trust in Jehovah with all our heart. If we teach the student to lean on God instead of relying on his own strength, it will be easier for him to make the firm decision to dedicate his life to him. Now let's answer the review questions entitled, What would you say? Question 1. How can we help a student identify the obstacles that hinder his progress? A practical way is to dedicate time to him and listen with genuine interest. When he feels trust, he will be able to talk about the challenges he faces, such as family pressure, work, or habits that are hard to give up. Once he sees for himself what is holding him back, he will be better prepared to overcome it with Jehovah's help. Question 2. How can we help a student love Jehovah more? We can highlight in each lesson God's beautiful qualities and show how they are reflected in what he is learning. When speaking about the ransom, we can help him think of it as Jehovah's personal gift to him. When the student reflects on such great love, a strong desire awakens in his heart to draw closer to his Creator. Question 3. How can we help a student make changes in his priorities? We encourage him to trust that Jehovah always fulfills his promises and will support him if he puts the kingdom first. We can show him examples of people who reorganized their lives and received many blessings. This way he will understand that the changes he makes are not just sacrifices, but decisions that draw him closer to Jehovah and bring true happiness. Well, these have been the answers to this week's Watchtower study. I hope they are very helpful to you, my dear brothers and sisters. We will see each other next week with a new video. I send you a warm hug, and may Jehovah always bless and protect you.